is the system. Right there you can see I have a 3 horsepower Tecumseh engine. I got it off of Craigslist. Only paid $20 for it. I was real lucky. It still had all the cable throttle adjustment and everything still attached to it. It was really nice. I'm not sure why the guy had it for sale, but I had to clean the carburetor. Once I cleaned the carburetor, it works just fine, even though it has the not as desirable. I believe it's called a Lawson Pulse carburetor, but I've got this one running okay. And you can see I've got an alternator there that I got at the junkyard for $20. Did fantastic on that. That's actually been remanufactured to military specs from Ohio Generator. So it's a 10SI that has been reworked to put out 100 amps, I believe it's rated at. And although these are originally self-exciting alternators, this one has been reworked to military specs, so I had to put a switch on it. Just like an ignition switch. I usually let the motor run for about a minute or so, then I turn on the alternator. And it's really nice, self-regulating, so when it needs more load, it pulls more load. When your battery bank is charged up, it just puts a smaller charge on it. So that's nice. It automatically senses that. So $20. It's worth $100 probably. So I did fantastic on it. And just going into a simple battery bank, I only have 3 right now, but I have plans to go 8 or 10 just so I can increase my amp hours. And in part 3, we'll go through all those numbers and whatnot. So, and as you can see, I just mounted the motor right onto this plywood, and the plywood's mounted onto an old hardwood pallet just to give it some rigidity. As you can see, it has 4 bolts. I put it on there, try to get it nice and square. Put a carriage bolt up under from the underside and then bolted it down. Pretty straightforward. And as you can see, the wings on an alternator, I just rotate it down so the wings are touching the plywood, and I marked 4 marks, one on each side of one of those wings. And as I did this, I tried to place the belt on there because it's really important to get a nice straight alignment. Obviously, you don't want to be throwing the belt off. So I marked all 4 of those spots, and those were reference to where I need to mount it. I used eye bolts. I believe that's a 1/4 inch eye bolt, and I'm putting a 5/8 inch bolt through it. And I just bolt it from the underside with a nice fender washer, a big washer, so it's nice and solid, doesn't move around anywhere. And after I did that, it looks like this. 4 eye bolts in there, and there's my 5/8 inch bolt. I used a nylock nut. It has a little nylon bushing in it so it doesn't back out. I didn't want to use a regular nut in a lock washer because if I did that, I'd really have to tighten it down tight to get that lock washer to work, and I didn't want to put any pressure on those little mounting wings of the alternator. As you can see, my first attempt there, I wasn't quite happy with the alignment. It was skewed a little bit. It wasn't throwing the belt, but I just thought I could do a little better, so I drilled a second hole. So there you go. You can see my mistake right there, but I did it just because I wanted it all not running nice and smooth. And after I get that in, you can see I just placed the alternator in there, ran the bolt through the eye bolts and the wings of the alternator, and tighten it down. Works perfect. I thought about removing the mounting system off of the engine, but I thought, how am I going to mount that onto the plywood and whatnot? So I thought of this solution, just using an eye bolt, and actually it's nice and solid. It works perfect. There's another view of it. Really nice alternator there. I got lucky on that. And I was going to go with a alternator tensioning arm to get a nice solid tension on it, but as long as I was doing this kind of on the cheap, I thought, why not use a heavy-duty bungee cord? So I gave it a whirl, started it up. Boy, it works fantastic. It keeps it nice and taut and runs nice and smooth. So that's how I mounted it all, and part 3, we will go over all the numbers and what it's putting out, and we can finish up there. So there's part 2. Thanks.